and Philip behind the scenes right now. Perhaps they can mute themselves. Thanks, everyone. We're still just getting this all smoothed out after some weeks, and we're so glad you're here, hanging with us through this pandemic. And when we can't be close to each other, at least we can still connect here. Take a minute if you're on social media to go ahead and say hello to folks out there. Say who you are, where you're from. I know some of you are even tuning in from afar. We love to sing this song every Sunday morning. I'm in the right place at the right time. I'm just where I'm supposed to be. And I believe that right here, right now, this morning, that we're here together, exactly where we're supposed to be. My soul is welcome here. Yes. All right. Well, we are going to move along to our practitioner of the day, Susan Jancic, for a prayer.
Thank you. The invocation for today is widening our circle of compassion. And please go within. Know with me, as I know, there is one divine presence, one life, one love, one voice, one light of knowing that is in and through all life. It is ever available, ever uplifting, and ever pulsing love and compassion. I am an expression of the divine presence, and I have this moment and every moment to express compassion out into the world. The opportunity begins with my thought and my intention. I choose to create with my creative energy a circle of compassion, and in so doing, it like a pebble dropped into a quiet lake, the movement ripples out, and compassion moves out and out into the world. I am compassion. I am a truth messenger. I am awakened. I am faith-filled light being, and I am clear. I am clear to embody and embrace the circle of compassion blankets the earth in peace. I am so grateful for this teaching. I am so grateful for this community. And I am so grateful for our beloved Dr. Andrea, our spiritual leader. I offer these words into the creative medium, knowing that they are so, and so it is. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Susan. Take comfort as I am. Surrender all need for a plan. Divine presence is always at hand. Take comfort as I am. Take comfort as I am. Surrender all need for a plan. Divine presence is always at hand. Take comfort as I am. I know there's only one moving me to be untethered, undone. I accept this love healing, breathing me whole, and give thanks for it is done. Take comfort as I am. Surrender all need for a plan. Divine presence is always at hand. Take comfort as I am. I know there's only one. I know there's only one moving me to be untethered, undone. I accept this love healing, breathing me whole. I know there's only one moving me to be untethered, undone. I accept this love healing, breathing me whole, and give thanks for it is done. And give thanks for it is done. I wanna lift you up. I wanna raise you from the ground. Can we look together straight into the wind? I wanna lean on you. So can we help each other through? Can we fall back, you and me, into the wind? If you want to know the answer, if you want to know the truth is there's no answer other than you. If you want to know the answer, if you want to know the truth is there's no child? Can we love the child who lives inside us all? If you want to know the answer, if you want to know the truth is there's no answer other than you. If you want to know the answer, if you want to know the truth is there's no answer other than me too. The truth is there's no answer other than we two. Can we love? Can we love? Can we love? Can we look together straight into the wind? Can we love? Can we love? Can we love? Can we look together straight into the wind? Can we fall back, you and me, into the wind? The truth is that we are the wind.
Hey, I've got reflection. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to see if I can. There we go. Well, it's a little bit better. So welcome back. And I wanted to talk today about the widening the circle of our compassion, as Susan mentioned. And I have a quote for you from Albert Einstein that I wanted to start with. A human being is a part of a whole, called by us the universe, a part limited in time and space. We experience ourselves, our thoughts and feelings as something separate from the rest, a kind of optical delusion of our consciousness. This delusion is a kind of prison for us, restricting us to our personal desires and affections for a few persons nearest to us. Our task must be to free ourselves from this prison by widening the circle of our compassion to embrace all living creatures and the whole of nature in its beauty. So I was thinking about widening the circle of our compassion because our theme this month is the joy of interbeing, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about some of the insights that I've been having lately. One of them maybe has already occurred to you. Maybe I'm a little slow on the uptake, but I was talking to a bunch of people on Zoom about pandemic fatigue. And I was realizing that it's more than fatigue, that there's something else operating. And from my therapy background, I realized that part of what's operating is grief. And that actually long ago in the 60s, when Elizabeth Kubler-Ross was working with terminally ill patients and their families, she developed the 5 stages of grief, which we now understand don't just apply to terminally ill people and their families, but apply to any of us who are experiencing different kinds of grief. And so I wanted to remind you of those stages, and as I'm saying them, I'd like you to check in with yourself and see if you've been experiencing any of these or all of these in the last 5 months that we've been in various stages of lockdown and isolation. So the first stage that Kubler-Ross identified is denial. Now, I experienced denial at the beginning of this whole thing, and I think a lot of us did, partly based on not really knowing what we were dealing with. And so we thought, oh, you know, piece of cake, this will be a nice little reset. We'll have a couple weeks and maybe 6, and then we'll be back in business. Didn't happen. And then what happens after denial often is anger. And remember that these stages are not in order, so you can feel these all at the same time or go back and forth between some of them. So anger, of course, is what we're seeing a lot in the last few weeks of people who have snapped, basically, and just the isolation and the rules and all of that is getting to them. There's bargaining. Well, can I not wear my mask when I'm out in nature? Could I hug my family? Can I, the kind of bargaining we do in this isolation time. Depression, which is actually what I was experiencing, a little bit of sadness, depression, the feeling of what's it all mean, that kind of thing. And then acceptance, which, acceptance is a great state. But it's not necessarily a happy state. It's just a recognition that, okay, this is what's happening. And I've certainly been in acceptance a lot, and probably you have too. But I wanted to bring those stages up to you because you may not have realized that our whole society, in fact, many parts of the world, are actually in a profound state of grieving. And for me, why that's important is that it helps me widen the circle of my compassion. Because I certainly have had conversations with people via email or texting or Zoom who are angry at people for either wearing masks or not wearing masks. They're angry at political parties or politicians. They're angry at fill in the blank. They're angry. And this is nothing new, but I think the compassion in me is now realizing that this particular time brings up all of those stages of having to deal with our own sorrow about the loss of our lives as we knew them. We're not in a place where we even know what's going to happen later. So we're in what I famously call the hallway. And if you haven't heard me talk about that, I'll give you a snapshot. So I was grieving the loss of a marriage, and I was walking my dog in the dog park, and there was this old gentleman that was there every single day. And I would cry. I would walk all the way around the perimeter of the dog park, and I was crying. And he finally said, I've been noticing you. Are you okay? And I said, yeah, I'm just really sad. And he said, well, when one door closes, another one opens. And I'm like, yeah, thank you. And I went home and I thought about it because it was such a kind thing, stranger noticing my sorrow. And I realized, yeah, but he didn't tell me about the hallway, because a lot of times the door closes and you're in a hallway and it's lit by a 30-watt bulb. And there's lots of obstacles in the path to get to the door that's going to open to the new life. People, we're in the hallway. And we can navigate that hallway with grace. We can really help one another to move through this experience with beauty and peace and connection and acceptance, or not. And I know which one I would pick. So widening our circle of compassion starts with understanding that people are where they are, and we don't really know the full story, but we can certainly say that all of us are in a hallway. And I brought you a poem because this particular set of poetry of presence, was actually a Facebook project. And for 3 years, this incredible person named Phyllis Koldai put together mindfulness poems for every day for 3 years, and then she put them all into this compendium. So this is a poem called "There Was a Time I Would Reject Those," and it's by Muhyiddin Ibn al-Arabi. There was a time I would reject those who were not of my faith, but now my heart has grown capable of taking on all forms. It is a pasture for gazelles, an abbey for monks, a table for the Torah, Kaaba for the pilgrim. My religion is love. Whichever the route love's caravan shall take, that shall be the path of my faith. And so I know that in a way I'm singing to the choir here in suggesting that one of the things that we can do to widen our circle of compassion is we can begin to look at the places that we feel judgment, criticism, or resentment arising, resistance coming up. And the reason that's important to me is that, if you're on a spiritual path, and I'm assuming you are if you're listening, there's a way that spiritual warriors relate to the world that's very, very different than just your normal, average, sacred human. A spiritual warrior is looking at the places where they want to reject. A spiritual warrior is looking at the places of judgment, of resistance, of resentment. And they're looking at it in a particular way. They're realizing that that is the very place where they close their heart. That is the very place that needs the work. That place, the inner place, the place that Amber was singing about, if you want to know the answer is you. That's the place of the spiritual warrior's path, is going inward to look into the constrictions, the rejections, the closed-heartedness, and to begin to practice opening the heart over and over again. And I'm a fan of Jack Kornfield. I joke that he's my best friend. He's certainly one of my best friends on the spiritual path because his teachings, his stories, and his way of experiencing the world helped me to be a spiritual warrior. So he and I are fans of Barbara Kingsolver, the author. And in one of her books, High Tide in Tucson, which is a really great book, Jack quotes her. He says, Barbara Kingsolver talks about the transformation that is possible even when our old life is in ruins. And this is what she writes. Every one of us is called upon, probably many times, to start a new life. I think that's what's happening right now. A frightening diagnosis, a marriage, a move, loss of a job or a limb or a loved one, a graduation, bringing a new baby home, I'll add a pandemic. It's impossible to think at first how this will all be possible. Eventually, what moves it all forward is the subterranean ebb and flow of being alive among the living. We are privileged that way, right now. She goes on, in my own worst seasons, just in case you're feeling depression, in my own worst seasons, I've come back from the colorless world of despair by forcing myself to look hard for a long time at a single glorious thing, a flame of red geranium outside my bedroom window, and then another, my daughter in a yellow dress, and another, the perfect outline of a full, dark sphere behind the crescent moon, until I learned to be in love with my life again. Like a stroke victim retraining new parts of the brain to grasp lost skills, I have taught myself joy over and over again. So part of the spiritual warrior's path is not only looking at the places where we close our heart, where we want to move with judgment or rejection, but it's also the task of the warrior to remain open to all that is in this very moment. Because in this present moment, right wherever you are, the likelihood is that everything is actually fairly lovely. That if you look around where you're sitting or standing, where you're watching this, if you notice what you're watching this on, if you notice the people that support you, if you notice the beauty that you've created for yourself, wow, that's there too. So it's not either or. And the mind wants to do a thought distortion. It wants to do black and white. It wants to say all bad or all good. And it has more difficulty with the nuances that are the actuals of our daily living. I'm interested in those nuances because I'm interested in not being caught by a closed heart, by a judgmental mind. And I'm also interested in experiencing the joys that are present and not missing them because of the gloom that has pervaded my awareness. So I was also reading in The Wise Heart, which I was just reading from by Jack, one of my favorite stories, and it's a true story about a historical figure named King Ashoka. And King Ashoka lived in the 3rd century BCE. And a lot of us in the United States or Western world may not have heard of him, but he's actually quite famous in most of the world. He is he established the most benevolent and compassionate kingdom in India that has ever been, then or since. And as the ruler of the Mauryan Empire, he still has remains of his kingdom that litter India. And often you'll find his edicts instructing the inhabitants of India to respect one another, to lead a virtuous life, to dig wells, build roads, care for the poor, and honor all forms of religion. But you know, he wasn't always wise. So here's the story. The most common account of Ashoka's transformation says that it took place following a great battle. The king found himself seated on a hill, looking over the carnage of the war for South India that he had just won. As he gazed sorrowfully upon the broken chariots, the slain horses, and thousands upon thousands of dead warriors from both sides, Ashoka saw a Buddhist monk walking peacefully along the road next to the battleground. All at once, the king felt impoverished. He who commanded everything, armies, palaces, wives, wealth, servants, was also one who could not sleep at night, whose heart was not at peace. The serenity of the monk was like nectar to the parched heart of the king. He became the monk's student and followed his teachings of virtue, compassion, and respect for all life. Thenceforward, he directed his army to build roads, safeguard the populace, and he established compassionate decrees that are still honored to this day. So Jack tells a story about a man named Alex who came to his retreat center suffering from not being able to sleep, anxiety, and depression. So his name was Alex. So Alex heard the story of Ashoka on a 10-day retreat. He had come because he too could not sleep. An enormously successful entrepreneur, Alex had built a chain of hardware stores from a small startup into a billion-dollar company through ambitious battles and long years of work. But now his blood pressure was high and he was in the midst of a divorce. His older daughter was in treatment for bulimia and his younger son wouldn't talk to him. He was being sued by a key investor. He tried to concentrate on his breath to settle his mind, but he could hardly sit still. Even though he had a strong will, it was a struggle to stay even in the room. For 6 days, he wrestled with his mind and aching body, and then he heard the story of King Ashoka, and he knew he had to find a way to peace. During the next session, Alex was taught the practices of loving kindness and compassion. He focused first on himself and all he had suffered. He wept for most of the day. He grieved for his children, for himself, for his departing wife, for the pain of it all. He allowed himself to experience the depth of his feelings, and his mind became still. Eventually, he left the retreat, and he did fairly well until a partner of his was diagnosed with terminal pancreatic cancer. This news was too much for him, and he sought out the local meditation group and the presence of a teacher. During his time with them, a vision came to him. He saw himself sitting like King Ashoka, overlooking the battlefield of his own life. He had fought so many battles, as I'm sure you have too. And now he was sitting weary and reflective. As he did so, Alex saw a monk walking with great serenity toward him. To his astonishment, he realized the monk's face was his very own. He felt deeply moved. It was as if this vision showed him he could walk through the battlefield with a peaceful heart. So the lesson for today has to do with how do we walk through this pandemic, this battlefield that we're in, this place, and keep our hearts open to compassion for everyone we encounter, even those that we may not agree with in a particular way. How do we do that practice? And the answer lies very simply with mindfulness and awareness. The moment we become aware that our heart is beginning to close, that our mind has taken the trajectory of judgment, that we have come up against some sort of resistance in our own being, we have the tool in hand, that awareness, to turn in the seat of consciousness, look within, and begin to practice loving kindness and compassion, first toward ourselves, and then turning it outward to the world. Remember, we don't know another person's story. We don't know their journey. We don't know the obstacles and the difficulties that they're facing in this particular time. Perhaps they've lost their job. Perhaps they didn't have enough savings to make it, and now they're struggling with food insecurity or rent insecurity. Perhaps there's something going on in their life that we have no idea about. And the same could be true for ourselves. The things that are difficult for us may be affecting how we see the world. Maybe the stages of grief that we're in make it so that our black and white thinking comes to the fore. In that case, we practice compassion for ourselves very diligently so that we can awaken again to the truth that right next to all that is difficult is all that is beautiful. That right next to sorrow is joy. That because we have the privilege, as Barbara Kingsolver said, of living among the living, we have the opportunity to turn in our own consciousness to the place of joy and remembrance that the divine is here present within us and all things, and to see it as we look out. I'm going to do a prayer for that right now, and then I'll do some announcements and we'll have Amber back to sing us out of here. I just want to encourage you on your journey. This is a journey we're on. You and I, spiritual warriors that we are, have been challenged by the pandemic to bring forward all our spiritual tools and use them effectively and diligently, moment by moment. So join me in this prayer for you and for me. Indeed, within each one of us, within me, within you, there lies a vast intelligence and love that has no limit. And it knows no limit in me or you. It is the vast field that we are seated within. And like King Ashoka, we have a choice. We have a choice to view the world differently now than ever before. I choose to see each person that I meet as the divine in drag. I choose to see the sights of the world, the trees and the flowers, the animals and the birds, the insects, the earth herself, as an expression of divinity. And I choose to see my own self that way as well. Remembering that I am grounded and seated within an unlimited source of love, I open my heart whenever it seeks to close down out of fear or sorrow. I allow the open heart to be tender, knowing that the love that it is expressing is the divine love of all love, and that it flows out from me, illumining me and those that it reaches to. As I express love, intelligence moves me in ways that open me even further on the spiritual path. I am illumined from within and grateful in this time. Supported, open-hearted, moving with intelligence, I open the door to new experiences and experience a tremendous release. For all of this, I'm grateful, and so it is. All right, so we have some things happening and you're invited to be a part of it. One of the things that's coming up very shortly is we have a book study that's happening. We're studying the book How to Be Anti-Racist by Ibram, let me look, Kendi. I always forget his last name, Ibram X. Kendi. And that book study begins on Wednesday, August 19th. To register for that, it's absolutely free, but you need to receive the Zoom link. So we need to have you email the center at info@csl-bellingham.org and ask to be given the Zoom link for the How to Be an Anti-Racist book group. This book group is led by two of our practitioners, Francine Kitchen and Joanne Allison, and we would love you to be a part of the discussion. Interestingly, Ibram Kendi wrote a book for children called Anti-Racist Baby, and our children's church teachers decided that Cheryl Nelson, who's one of them, decided to offer a children's hour where she reads Anti-Racist Baby on Zoom. That's going to be happening the day after the book study starts. So it's Thursday, August 20th at 11 a.m. You can email either the center or if you are receiving our announcements, you also have Cheryl's email address, and we will send you out a Zoom link one way or another. So if you have young children in your life, this is a lovely book for them to explore as well. In addition, we've been offering a wonderful service at 7 a.m. in the morning. I know it's early, but what's happening then is a really beautiful prayer offered by our licensed practitioners. And it's offered Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. And to receive the Zoom link, you can email the center and we'll send it on out to you. It's the same link for every day. So if you save the link, you'll be able to tune in when you can. You can have your coffee or your tea with you. But boy, I've been on a couple of these prayers. I forget sometimes, but when I remember, it is such a great start to my day. I am so grateful that they are offering this to all of us. So feel free to be a part of that prayer chain. It's lovely. We also have been having these tremendously beautiful August garden parties here in Bellingham. August is the month of months. It's beautiful, sunny, breezy. The gardens here at the center, we have 7 acres on our campus, are just lovely, filled with sun and shade, and even a deer or two come by. We have some rabbits who have forgotten to be afraid of humans. And so we've had a couple of garden parties that have been just extraordinary. We have a few that are still open, that if you would like to be participating in them, the one that has the most openings right now is Sunday, August 30th at noon. If you can be present here in the Bellingham area, we have a spiritual question and answer with me and a couple of our practitioners. And the last one we had was absolutely stunningly fun. So I hope you'll think about joining us for those. And stay tuned. We may have a few more garden parties before the weather turns here. We'd love you to be a part of it. Next week, we will not be having services. We're all taking a little bit of a break since there's 5 Sundays in August. But we want you to come on back on the 30th when we'll all be rested and refreshed and ready to go again. And never fear, we love you. And if you need anything, please reach out to the office and one of us will get back to you as soon as we can. All right, I think that's it. So I'm going to turn this over to Amber for a closing song. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Dr. Andrea. For the sun that warms this body, for the earth that we call home, for the love that knows no boundary, I am thankful. For the trees that line the mountains, for the sea and life it holds, the source of inspiration, I am thankful. Let's sing it out. Love and light, love, light, light. Fill me up, peace, power, beauty, joy. Fill me up for the one infinite divine that is and ever was. I am thankful. life. Fill me up with peace, power, beauty, joy. Fill me up for the one infinite divine that is and ever was. I am thankful. I am thankful for the sun that warms this body, for the earth that we call home, for the love that knows no boundary. I am thankful. We are so thankful to you all who have joined us today and who will throughout the week. Thank you for your contributions, and we'll see you all again soon. Bye, everybody.